Afternoon. We will be adjourning momentarily to executive session and we'll hopefully return back to public session at approximately 6 p.m. Under Section 3-305B of the General Provisions Article of the Maryland Annotated Code, there are two reasons the board will go into closed session this evening: to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this body has jurisdiction. Any other personnel matter that may affect one or more specific individuals. To consult with counsel to obtain legal advice on legal matters. Specifically, the topics tonight will be 3-305B1 topics including certificated staffing recommendations and updates, tenured staff recommendations, and staffing changes for FY 25-26. 3-305B7 topics including Route 40 elementary school solar project update and petition for emergency non-resident enrollment and tuition waiver. The reason these topics will be discussed in closed session instead of open session as follows. Personnel topics pursuant to 3-305B1 disclosed above will be considered in closed session rather than open session because they include a discussion of specific employees, which is a confidential employment matter. The legal topics pursuant to 3-305B7 disclosed above will be considered in closed session rather than open session because the board will be receiving specific legal advice from counsel, which is protected by attorney-client privilege. With that being said, are there any objections to the board going into executive session? Hearing none, there is a motion to do so.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Motion by Sadie,
Second.
second by Rodney. Discussion. All those in favor of going into executive session signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we are now in executive session. I'd like to welcome everyone to the August 12th regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting. We'd like to thank everyone for hopefully watching online for our meeting. Let's start with a moment of silence, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by our student board members. So if you'll please stand. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Take a motion to approve the public agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Motion made by Sadie,
I'll second.
second by Rodney. Discussion. All those in favor of the agenda as presented, signify by saying aye.
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 And aye. Approval of the consent agenda, motion as such.
So moved.
So moved by Rodney,
Second.
second by Sadie. All those in favor of the consent agenda, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Closed session summaries and announcements will be placed on our board website, and certainly encourage anyone and everyone who follows along with board meetings to look at those as you see fit. The first order of business is the FY 24-25 budget transfer request action item tonight. And that is going to be presented by Scott Felty.
Yes, so I am presenting the fiscal 25 budget transfer. The total amount of the transfer is $462,000. The areas that we will be moving the money to will be activity 181, salaries for $50,000, 181 non-certified salaries for $40,000, activity 401 pupil services, certified salaries $62,000, activity 350 special education, consultants $200,000, and activity 901 fixed charges retirement for $110,000. The money will be transferred from activity 229 other instruction teacher salaries, as there was a surplus in this line.
Superintendent McCarty, you have a recommendation for the board?
Yes, my recommendation is to approve fiscal year 24-25 budget transfer of 462,000 to, yes, to the 229 other instruction teachers.
The various activities.
I'm sorry. My recommendation, if I may start over.
Sure.
With apology. My recommendation is to approve the fiscal year 24-25 budget transfer of $462,000 to the 5 activities presented tonight through a transfer from 229 other instruction.
Superintendent's recommending that the board allow the transfer of $462,000 from activity 229, which will then be put in 5 different activities for the usage in those activities. Is there a motion as such?
So moved.
So moved by Rodney. Second by Sadie. Questions?
Yeah,
Sure.
some questions. This seems like a lot to transfer. And is there anything peculiar about this year that caused this fluctuation in those line items? I mean, thankfully, we have that money in activity 229 to be able to transfer, but is it getting harder and harder to project what, those line items should be?
Yes, some of it is a projection. A projection problem on our part is we're putting the budget together, and then if we have people that retire mid-year, sometimes the retirement requires us to add a replacement position for a period of time, and sometimes we end up paying benefits to retirees. All of those things play in to the need to do this. The other thing that we did for this budget year was we were maybe more realistic in what we were projecting in salaries. We tried to be more realistic because we knew we had some budget challenges that we needed to take care of as we moved from our COVID funding to not having that COVID funding.
Okay.
We looked the previous year, Mr. Glodfeldy, we had almost 400,000 in transfers as we finished that year also.
Last year. Okay, so it's not unusual to have this.
No, it's not an unusual amount.
I just can't.
In fact, when Mrs. Glodfeldy and I talked about it, I'm like, when you have the level of budget that we have and the number of different places, activities, it's not an unusual.
Well, it looks like you were accurate on the total instructional budget. So that's a good thing, right?
So does this happen pretty frequently? This is a sort of a shore up, for want of
Correct.
a better word. I think that's what we use in finance language, to shore up our budget as we go through our auditing process. Our auditors are on site now, and as we finalize all of the expenditures for this previous fiscal year, it is not unusual. At this time, this is when we typically will ask the board to transfer some funds within the budget categories. We will tomorrow send a memo to our county commissioners because these are major category changes and they will need to also approve. Okay, thank you.
I know Dr. Mangus isn't here, but maybe your Dr. Miller might know the answer. What happened that put us $200,000 over on consultants for special ed?
Yeah, because we were not able to employ people full-time for some of our positions. We weren't able to find certificated staff to serve our students. We still needed to serve our students, so we employed consultants to deliver those services that are necessary.
And that's more expensive.
Yes.
Essential? Yes. And yes, a little bit more expensive. But we are charged with serving all of our students, and we did.
Is that an ever-growing problem that we're gonna see every year, that we're gonna need more and more consultants to do the things that we're held responsible for doing?
It could be. As you know, last month, the board approved a contract for speech therapists. That is a consultant contract because we could not find speech therapist. We were very pleased to find someone who could provide services. And so other counties are, not that all of us are having problems in some certificated areas. Speech pathologist, sometimes in special education, sometimes in mathematics, higher level sciences. So we do have to think a little outside the box on these. But when it comes to students who have individual education plans or 504 plans, we must deliver those services. So,
I just wonder if it was a growing
yes,
number every year that's gonna grow.
right.
Which,
What about the overage on retirement? Why did we have 110,000 in the fixed charges retirement over budget? Was there a abnormal amount of retirements last year, or is that?
Well, that's the amount that we actually would pay into retirement.
Yeah. But
And part of it was because the under budget of the salaries, but then I believe the other portion were restricted funds that were moving back to the unrestricted 01 budget.
okay. Thank you.
other questions? Okay, the superintendent's recommended that we allow $462,000 to be transferred from activity 229 to 5 specific activities to pay needs in those areas. There is a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And there could be no nays, so it is approved. All right, let's move on to FY 25-26 budget amendment request action item. Also, this is moving forward, and Ms. Caulfield will make that recommendation or that presentation as well.
Yes, so we had an increase in our funding for the hold harmless, and we also had an increase in our funding for CCR. So we need to do a budget amendment to increase the funding to the $68,670.
Oh, I see it there now. Okay, Superintendent, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, this is a positive recommendation because this is a positive recommendation because this is more revenue that came in after we approved the 25-26 budget. So my recommendation is to approve the fiscal year 25-26 amendment of 69,000.
Yeah, it's, that's the one I'm looking at. Do we have another one? I was looking for another one that said exactly what you said.
It's 68, isn't it?
I see 68,670.
There was an additional portion for CCR,
Right,
I don't have that.
500, I think, digit dollars.
which brought the full amount, the wrong document might be on the screen. I can't read that far, but the full amount is $69,258.
How much is it?
Am I correct on that?
Better the line.
The correct amount is $69,258. And that amount, my recommendation is to approve the fiscal year 25-26 amendment of $69,258 to activity 229, other instruction. And this money is available because of an increase in state foundation hold harmless revenue and college and career revenue readiness funding. Do you want me to say that again, Mr. Woods?
I won't put you through that. No, but I've got a pretty good idea what I'm going to say. So I think
Go ahead.
you correct me if I'm wrong. Superintendent's asked us to transfer from an increase in state foundation CCR funding, the amount of $69,258 to activity 229. Correct?
Correct, yes.
Correct.
Is there a motion as such?
I'll make a motion to do that.
Motion by Rodney,
Second.
second by Sadie. Questions, anyone? Okay, this is taking newfound monies, new presented monies and applying it where it's needed.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will say that I was asked by one of the board members if we actually had to do this since it was an increase. And yes, we do. By law, when our revenue changes, we have to go through the process of amending the budget.
Last
In-
year's budget, this year's
Right.
budget.
And our auditors would require that.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to, I'll put it away, to increase, to take the increase of state foundation CCR funding of $69,258 and apply it to activity 229. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And there are 3 ayes. Okay, one more, Ms. Ashley.
Okay, so this is a request for, some funds from the healthcare funding for a one-time usage for the partial roof replacement at the Dennett Road Educational Complex. The roof is in desperate need of repair after many failed attempts of repair and maintenance. They're suggesting a partial replacement. We currently do not have a surplus in our fiscal 26 budget to complete this replacement and have already used fund balance to support our balanced budget. So that's why I'm making this recommendation.
Okay. Superintendent McCarty, you have a recommendation?
I do. My recommendation is to approve the fiscal year 25-26 budget transfer of $500,000 from the Healthcare Trust for one-time usage to fund this capital improvement project, which will be next on your agenda.
Superintendent's recommending that the board approve the transfer of $500,000 from the Healthcare Trust for a one-time usage of a roof repair at the Dennett Road Educational Complex. Motion as such?
Okay, I'll move to do that.
Motion by Mr. Glatfelty. Second?
Discussion.
Yes,
I need more than a yes.
I approve that. I don't know.
Second.
Second.
I second.
You second, okay. Yeah, you have to hold it for a while and wait for it to register.
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. We can now have discussion concerning the transfer of the $500,000 from the Healthcare Trust. Questions, concerns?
Well, I think there's always going to be a concern when you take money out of a trust fund like this for money that's dedicated for future use and healthcare for the retirees. But I assume we have a pretty good balance in that budget. It's over $1 million, right?
Yeah, this isn't necessarily for retirement
Or,
or retirees. This would be for our actives.
but it's a trust fund though, right?
Correct. It's the surplus.
This is the money Mr. Glodfelly held at our commissioner's office as part of the healthcare coalition.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's the money that we're talking about. And we have been advised that we really should look at that money as using it for one-time projects. We also have used that money to help mitigate healthcare costs. But at the end, I think it was in May of last year, our report was that we had a good balance in that funding. And this roof is in dire need of repair. So accessing $500,000 from that fund does not harm the fund, nor does it
Okay.
harm our
I just had a concern where that money was coming
Yeah,
from. Now I
we
understand.
have another, you are referring to another fund that we have that is set aside for OPEB,
Right.
for post-employee benefits. That's a whole different fund.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Just for clarification, can we estimate what we have in that surplus?
When we were updated in March, we had 1.841 million.
That's a pretty good estimate.
Yes, that's a pretty good estimate.
Just leaving the change off.
Yes, 1.8.
Okay, all right. So we have about 1.8 that we have as a surplus, and the superintendent is asking us to use $500,000 of that to fix the roof. And we're going to discuss, should this pass, we're going to discuss the roof here in just a moment.
That's right.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Okay, yes, go ahead.
It
You
worked.
were right. You were good.
Okay, I think my only hesitation and concern with this is just being in the school altogether. You know, it was closed years ago and all of that, so that's my only apprehension with it. It wasn't, the community was told that it wasn't safe for students, and now we have board members here in the school, and now we're putting money back into it. That's my only concern with it.
Address that.
I'll give it a try.
Okay.
I'll give it a try. I really can't address the closure of the school. I can address that from my viewpoint, this building, and the county uses a section of the building, is for the foreseeable future, this is our board office. And in order to maintain any building, periodic structural repairs are necessary. And it is important to me, and I know it is to the board, and I know it is to you, that our employees that work out of the central office have a safe, comfortable environment. So for the foreseeable future, I see us being here. When we left the building downtown 2 years ago, we estimated at that point that we would save at least $100,000 a year on utilities and use of that building, and that building was in need of major repairs that we were going to have to pay for. So, yes, all of that leads to the recommendation to move $500,000 to take care of it.
Maybe
But
maybe
thank
to
you.
help with that explanation, Mr. Witt, would you come up to the, can you just kind of lead us? I know you're going to do this perhaps, but we've not said okay yet. So convince us that we really need to do this.
So, early in the spring, we had some leaks in the roof. We had a contractor come on site, and there isn't enough good roof material to even attach a patch to. Where the roof superstructure is underneath with the trusses going, we actually have a rain gutter underneath of that catching water and a tube running down the wall to
Heard
the
about that.
outside.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And at this point, we can't patch the roof anymore. We are left with no other choice other than replacement at this point.
And correct me if I
No,
may,
you know.
if I'm wrong, Mr. Witt, but this part of the building where we are with the county has a relatively new roof that the county is somewhat responsible for that.
It is newer than the section we are replacing. This is the oldest section. I believe it's approaching the 30-year mark since it's had any significant repairs to, or significant work done to it.
Are you aware of any other significant structural problems with this building that concerns you other than the roof?
I'm still fairly new and figuring things out with this building, but this roof is probably the largest need at this time.
What exact section are you going to replace the roof on?
So this would be over the finance wing and the lobby.
Thank you.
It is the sections where we are having leak problems, and we need to take care of. And I would remind you that as we do have students in this building, because we have Head Start in the building, and we have our alternative classroom in the building. So, and once we get Broadford open, the Head Start classrooms will move to Broadford School, and we will utilize the rest of this building for staff. And there have already been modifications to the building. If you look in the back in the maintenance area, I mean, it's the old gym in this building has been converted to a really good maintenance facility for us, which we have to have. So.
It has to be fixed if you're going to remain here, because otherwise, if it's not fixed, it's just going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a motion and second on the floor to use 2526 healthcare surplus monies for a one-time use to the amount of $500,000 to do roof repair on the Dennett Road Educational Complex. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, and it is approved.
Thank you.
Now let's move on to how we're going to do that. Dennett Road Educational Complex. Thank you, Ms. Kleinfelte. This is also an action item for this evening, and Mr. Wood will make that presentation.
So we are utilizing an Omnia contract. It's a state purchasing agreement. So it's already gone through all the procurement process that our procurement policies require. If approved, this work would begin in September and finish in October, weather permitting, approximately 4 to 6 weeks to complete the project. Again, this would be over the finance and HR sections as well as the lobby. And it would include a 20-year warranty, which is pretty significant in the roofing industry. So the contractor that would be awarded the money would be Heidler Roofing in the amount of $402,000, $402,368,000. And then they gave an alternate price on deck replacement at $15 per square foot. And again, that is Heidler Roofing.
Okay, Superintendent McCartney, you have a recommendation.
My recommendation is to approve Heidler Roofing to complete the partial roof replacement at Dennett Road Educational Complex with the bid for $402,368 through the Omnia contract. There's also deck replacement as needed, which that's an additional $15 per square foot.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, the superintendent's recommending that we accept the bid from Heidler Roofing for $402,368 for a partial roof replacement on Dennett Road Educational Complex with the possible addition of deck replacement of $15 per square foot. And this is a part of our Omnia contract that we're involved with. Is there a motion as such?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sadie,
Second.
second by Rodney. Discussion? You say you'll, if this is approved, we'll start in September and hopefully be finished in October?
Correct.
How do you determine how much, they'll determine how much deck needs to be replaced or?
Yeah, so we'll, our staff will be on site as well as needed to perform inspections. The last thing we want to do is put new roofing on a substandard deck.
Sure. Yeah,
So.
sure. We anticipate the deck's gonna need to be replaced.
Everywhere where I've looked, the paint is still visible inside, and that is normally a sign of good deck, but we have to allow for that possibility.
So you're confident that the 500,000 will cover what we need to do?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
And if it comes in less, what's that money? What will we do with the money if it comes in at 450,000?
Surplus monies,
So, yeah,
so we just won't access it.
We would, I'm not looking forward to a lot of surplus money in the 500,000, as Bobby and I had talked about it. But should there be surplus money, we would put it in our budget and certainly come back to the board and talk about it. But as we move the rest of the staff into this building, we may need to do some additional partitions, some work in this building.
So we go into a capital budget? Okay. Makes sense.
Questions, comments? Okay, superintendent's recommending that we award to Heidler Roofing contract for $402,368 for roofing with additional $15 per square foot for deck replacement as needed, with commencement of September of 2025, anticipated completion 4 to 6 weeks later, October of 2025 as part of our Omnia contract. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I got an aye. And,
Yes.
and I am the third aye, so we're good. Thank you.
Mr. Witt, I'm holding you to that pretty confident.
Okay, capital projects update. This is also Mr. Witt's presentation to us.
All right. I'll go through these projects one at a time. You're feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions on a particular project. Southern High School partial roof replacement. This project's impressive. You know, it was a large portion of that roof, and if any of you have been by the school, you can see the numbers that are running around on that roof. They've performed very well. The base layer of membrane is complete, and most of the school is, all the roofing material is on. They will be around for a few weeks yet installing some of the trim, the steel to seal that gap between the roof and the existing building. But it will be completed this construction season, no problem.
Had some heat to work in that too. There was some hot couple of weeks there. That was, and I go by that building a lot, as you all know. And boy, you're right. Those were workers. They didn't come to hang out.
They've worked long days and many holidays and weekends.
Yeah, they're very impressive. Very impressive.
Who's doing that work?
That is SGK Contracting.
CK.
Northern High School partial roof replacement. It's a smaller company working on that roof. Not near the square footage, but they don't have near as large of a staff there. They're running behind. The front portion of the roof will be completed this season prior to school starting, but they are going to have to return next construction season to finish over the BOAG areas of the school. Many weather days have come into play. They didn't have as much manpower to fill in on the working days as the other contractor.
So that was always intended to be a one-year project?
It was.
Were they awarded the contract because they came in with the lowest bid?
They were actually the second lowest bid, taking us back a few months. SGK was actually low on both projects, but they came to us and felt that they didn't have enough manpower to do both roofs the same year.
That was going to be my question, because it sounds like the first group is really good. Now, is that something that will be remembered, that these people did a really good job and were doing what they're supposed to do, so in future projects, if there are,
Yes,
they
we
can be
will.
considered if they come in with the low bid?
That will be remembered. And I don't want to take away from the contractor at Northern. They're a top-notch contractor as well. The
Just
quality,
smaller.
yeah, they're smaller. Their quality of work is there. They're good.
And what's their name?
That's Height Roofing. All right, SHS Fieldhouse. The project's nearing completion. We're patiently awaiting Potomac Edison to get us power. That's been a major stumbling block on this project. We need power before we can test all our systems and get our inspections. However, meeting with Beitzel Corporation, they gave the okay for the Lions Club to start moving in some of their equipment for the concession stand area, and that is in place, and really hoping First Energy comes through on this. They're to be on site tomorrow to install the electric, and if that happens, the company that provides the Ansel system for the cooking equipment is to be on site Friday to take all their measurements and get that Ansel system built. We will need all that equipment to be inspected by the fire marshal before the UNO is issued. So I'll keep those updates coming.
Does the fire marshal we'll have to inspect the entire building as well.
We are gonna see how everything shakes out and see if necessary, if we can get a partial UNO. It just may not be for the concession stand area. But, I can't make you any promises on what their decision will be on that.
So they could okay the building to be used for restrooms, team rooms, et cetera, if the fire marshal okays that.
If he will sign off on
We'll
that.
sign off on that part of it. Is there any anticipation with the concession stands needs, if everything is done as should be done? Is there a time frame you can say, well, within a month, they should have all that up and operating, or,
So we've heard 2 to 3 weeks from the Ansel company.
okay. So by the end of this month, first week of September.
Pending no further delays,
Yeah,
yes.
pending further delays, yeah. But that has no bearing on the fire marshal okaying the use of restrooms and team rooms.
And that all comes down if he will issue a partial
Yeah.
UNO to the building.
That's what I mean, yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, everybody knows, those of us on the southern end are anxious to get into that building and use it. And those people who went out and raised a lot of money for that building, I'm sure are very anxious to see it used and opened with some sort of a dedication to, especially the two families that have given tremendous amount of money to make sure that building became a reality. We certainly want to honor those people as quickly as we can.
And we're doing everything in our power now to
I'm sure you
make it
are.
happen.
I'm sure.
Just a quick question. Are you working with the health department on this too to get a
We
permit?
we need power first
Yeah, but,
before we can start
I mean,
that
they've looked at
process.
your plans and everything.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
All
I
right.
don't want them to hold you up either. at the
Yeah.
end.
Any other questions on the field house? All right. So the final project is the Broadford School. As you can probably tell by driving by, that project is running behind. We did receive a schedule update from Shockey, who is the general contractor on the job, in July. And they're stating they can't make their December 1st deadline that would have allowed us to open after Christmas break. This new schedule is stating that they will finish by mid-March, and we could occupy by April 7th, which would be the Tuesday following Easter break.
Does that include the demolition of Broadford?
No, that's phase 2 of the project.
Yeah.
This is basically just making it to where we can move students from the current Broadford to the new Broadford.
Oh, it's disappointing. They can't get in there right after break.
It is.
Is it solely Shockey that's falling behind, or does Toby Edison have a role in this as well, or what? I mean,
Well, there was an issue today with Potomac Edison. We had scheduled for the power transfer there today, and they had a large outage, underground outage, and we fell on the back burner. So that is now rescheduled for next Tuesday. And I've stressed to them that it has to happen next week because we can't do this after school starts. But Shockey works with multiple subs. The weather's been a bit of a challenge from time to time. There has been, we're still experiencing some like delays in lead time on receiving material as well. So I can't pin this all on Shockey.
let me ask you just a question, because I saw something today or yesterday a little bit about this on the field house, where they had a name wrong. Had to put, I don't know if you were copied on that or not, from Kenny Signs.
Yeah.
From Mr. Kenny had a name was spelled wrong on the signs that go on the field house. And when they had to reorder the material. Of course, I think those letters are only like 12 or 14 inches tall. The new cost was $289 to replace that, all of which was tariff money, to pay the tariffs to get the metal they needed from China to do it. According to Mr. Kinney, that's his words, not mine. That's what was in the email. My question is, have you heard any of that problem from Shockey that, oh, you know, this could go up because of?
That's been a common threat. I can't say that the tariffs have really impacted us yet. But we're seeing higher prices come in on any proposed change orders or anything like that there, which that's typical in construction, but with the proof that we require, we are seeing that those raw material prices are increasing.
Well, if they made the mistake on the spelling, maybe
No,
they
we
should.
made a mistake.
Oh, we made the
was made
mistake.
by the person who gave you.
Okay, never mind.
The name. Yeah, yeah, the person, it wasn't Kenny's mistake. They just had to reorder the name, and he's passed along the tariff charge, he said. So I guess my concern is, that's a very small building compared to what you're building at Broadford. And if those tariffs are going up that much, will the tariffs go up a lot on them?
I mean, it's yet another fear
Yeah.
with a project
Yeah,
of this
that's a little
scale.
worrisome, yeah.
I have a quick question. So it says here, and this may be a question for Dr. McCartney too. It says that we're trying to occupy, that students can start to occupy the building April 7th of 2026. Is that the plan, like to immediately get students into that building? Or are we giving them a gap time to get teachers all set up in their classrooms? Or what is that going to look like?
All of those are good questions. And what we are planning to do is to develop a plan in that regard. We just recently got this information, so we will be sharing, the principal has already been apprised that it will be Easter week before we move. We have, when we developed our calendar, our school calendar for this year, we have a date after the Christmas break, a Friday, where we're not bringing students back, but we are bringing staff back. And we wanted that in the calendar so that our Broadford teachers, instead of doing staff development, they would be packing and getting things over. We're still planning to do packing that day and some purging of things at Broadford on that day. We are going to work next with the principal on looking at the best plan for moving into the building. We may do a phased move in, so that maybe we'll move 2 grade levels at a time. We're really talking about going across a parking lot. We will have all new furniture in the building, so in the month that it is ours, we'll be unpacking and moving new furniture into the building and get it set up, so that hopefully, as we go forward, within a week's time after this date, that Mr. Witt says you can move children in, within a week, we'll be able to move in.
Where will that fall with testing? This new
Before
date?
testing.
Okay.
We will not move during testing.
Okay.
I expect this date to be met. And we'll move. If something, I hate to say things like this, but if something happens and we're not able to move, if the building isn't turned over to us until May, we probably will not move until the end of the school year. But we've looked at this. If we can move at Easter, and we'll update our families here also, if we're able to move in within a week's time there, our students are eager to get in. We have students at the school who have helped design the media center. Some of those students will be moving on. It would be good to be able to get them in the building. So our plan is to move forward.
And
Excuse
the
me?
kitchen staff's going to have to move over into a new school, right? Like the Broadford kitchen staff will be going, so
Right.
is there any issues there? Okay.
And the good thing is, looking for the good in this, maybe, but the good thing is Broadford's going to be right there. If you leave your book bag behind, we can get it. So we'll have time, because eventually we'll do an auction of some of the things left behind at Broadford School, but we don't have to do that like immediately.
Well, I know it's about the kitchen staff, because if you move them 2 grades at a time, there'll be a time when they'll probably be preparing food at both schools, right?
Pardon?
Wouldn't there be a time when they'd be preparing food at both schools if you phase in the?
Yeah, if we moved 1 or 2 grades at a time, you might have a student in the new building and a student at Broadford. Is that what you
Serve
mean?
lunches at both buildings.
Yeah, where would the lunches be?
No, we would use one cafeteria. I mean, you walk
You could
across
just,
the
you just
way,
ferry
it's
it over.
May.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll figure out those logistics as we get closer and we know what parts of the building are easiest for us to access early on. In my mind, I would like to move the 6th grade over first, since they'll only be there for a short period of time, and let them have that experience of a new building. But those logistics are something that a group of us will
Okay.
work on together to figure out. What we will concentrate on, what I've said to staff as much as anything is, we will concentrate on student learning and how do we continue to provide continuity of instruction while we're moving students and staff. So we have some ideas, but we just need a little time to put those ideas together.
Let's talk for just a second, Bobby, just a second about the demolition. If we're in the school as expected, in April, or at least in the school as soon as possible, what's the timeline for demolition? How's that gonna work?
Well, so I've asked for 30 days to get all of our materials out of the school. What's left, I mean, this auction that we would have would not be at the same level as the auction when the middle school was closed. It would be quick. Auctioning things off by the room. You buy the room, and you have 3 days to get it out, and what you don't get out gets torn down with the building. Now, the kitchen equipment and things like that, I think it would be beneficial for us to sell some of that separately if we can't use it somewhere else. But we are going to pick some of the better furniture out of the building to assist other schools in the county before that auction would take place.
Sure. Once so theoretically, let's say, because people are gonna ask, obviously, the auction's over by the end of June, we got everything done by June. Can they demolish that building in July before we start the school year again, the first week in September?
So
assuming
the
that's when it
plan is we would be actually turning that building over to them in early May.
Okay.
there's some abatement and testing and things like that that needs to occur. And the idea is that those are all items that can be done while students are in the other building. But the idea is for that school to come down completely over the summer. The biggest challenge for me, I think, is going to be dealing with the traffic there, where the buses are going to come in versus where parent drop-offs and pickups are going to come in. But we have a solid plan there, I believe. We've been working with the site work contractor, and we feel that we have a solid plan there that's going to work. So hopefully by the following school year, that school, the existing Broadford, is completely out of the way. There may be some site work getting finished up, but
What's your initial thoughts about the portables? I know we rent some, we own some.
yeah. So the rented portables, that company would come and haul them out. The ones that we own, they could be auction items. If we have another use for them, we could use them somewhere else. As you know, portables age a little faster than traditional construction, so we'll really need to assess that before we would make our decision on that.
Yeah, obviously that's something we thought about for a long time, is what do we do with those once we ever close that school, and could they be used other places, with the idea that maybe they can't even be transported, or maybe the transporting setting up of those would be a huge amount of money. I don't.
Well, I truly think, as a worst case scenario, I think somebody would buy them. There might be a construction company that you purchase them as an office trailer, or somebody wants them as a hunting camp or something like that. So that's I think our worst case scenario on the portables that we own.
Is there any plan to demolish them?
No.
When you say the site work in the contract, what are they responsible for doing? How's that supposed to look when they finish?
So the parking lots are going to be a lot larger than what is currently there. When you look at the front parking lot, it's going to come approximately half to 3/4 of the way down the existing Broadford School building. So we need that building out of the way so that we can get all those parking lots in. And the rear parking lot where the parent drop off and pick up and parent parking will be is also going to be about halfway across the school. So and then that will be green space out along Broadford Road.
So do they finish that as green space, or they just grade it? And then
No, it will be finished as green space, and we should have room for future improvements that we want to do.
Parks, things like that. That's exciting. Although my wife cries every day, think that Broadford School is going to be torn down. But to me, it's exciting. So, let's see. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Bobby.
I just want to add a thanks to that too. Because Mr. Witt came in late to this project, really sort of late to all the projects he was updating tonight, and he has been very proactive with his staff in problem solving and trying to keep us on track and keep me very well informed of where we are with the projects. So thank you, Mr. Witt.
Thank you. Okay, Cadence. A lot going on this summer, I'll bet.
Oh, yeah. Well, so as for my student member report, There hasn't been much to report on student activities, but nevertheless, students still stay busy in the summer. Like always around this time, I'd like to congratulate all of the hardworking students who put art, show animals, or do any of the above in the fair. With that, we have a Northern High School senior who is named, I have a typo there, it's supposed to be 2025 Garrett County Farm Queen, Molly McGrawder, I believe. Tomorrow is the official start date for all of our 2025 fall athletics. So make sure to tune in and support our hardworking athletes across the county. As for student council on the county level, tonight after this, I actually have an executive board meeting where we are working on discussing our goals for the next school year as well as the student leaders retreat to be held in October. I am also working to create a student advisors program to work with students across the county, maybe even connect across the state and see what everyone's doing, just to get better input and see how I can do my job a little better. And then some additional notes. I'd like to encourage the community to come out to the Stuff the Bus campaign. I will be volunteering at that this Friday. One thing I forgot to include on my report is I got to attend Maryland Association of Student Councils advance, where basically we became workshop certified for this following year. And then next Monday, I am attending the MABE conference for new student leaders. And then I plan to attend back to school nights and new student orientations. And I think that's all I have.
Tell us about your experience at your Georgetown Law Week.
Oh yeah, of course. So I had the opportunity, and I would like to thank everyone who helped get me there, to basically be at Georgetown Law for a week to see the different careers in law that I may be wanting to pursue. You got to shadow different people, hear different pathways, and genuinely just be in DC. And I got to further discover what I want my career to be. And yeah, I did. I had a great experience, and I would encourage anyone else to do it for sure.
Okay, board member updates. As you, as any of you who are perhaps watching or will watch have noticed, there's only 3 of us tonight. Mr. Moran could not be here for personal reasons this evening. I was unable to attend. And as you may or may not know, Mr. Treesize, Matthew Treesize, has decided that due to the expansion of the ministry that he's a part of and obligations that he has, that his continuation on the Board of Education was just something he could not do. And is extremely remorseful, and we had a long conversation about it, and his heart is leading him one direction, and that's the direction he needs to follow. And we certainly thank Matthew for bringing insights to the board that perhaps we would not have had without him sharing with us, and we certainly wish him the best of luck on all of his pursuits, and I'm sure he's going to change a lot of lives in his lifetime. So congratulations to him on what he does. And we will be getting a new board member, hopefully by the September meeting. The commissioners will appoint someone, and I think the application is open until Friday. So we'll see who applies with the commissioners, and we'll see who we'll welcome in September to the board meeting.
And this is an open seat, right? So it can be anybody in
It
the
can
county?
be anyone. No.
It's not an
It's
open,
not. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. It's an at-large. It's an
Or an
at-large.
at-large.
Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah, it can be anywhere in the county. Yeah. Anything? Anybody else? Okay, superintendent update. Well, there's no public here, much less public comment. So we've got it's a pretty night. I wouldn't be here either if I didn't have to be here. So certainly.
So I will share some important upcoming dates, and I'll go very quickly so we can all go out and enjoy the evening. This Friday, on August the 15th, is our Stuff the Bus event. That will be held at Walmart from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We're still looking for volunteers, possible donations for that day. If you're interested in helping out at that event, you can contact Michael Lewis, who is our Director of Student Services, and we can give you more information. But basically, we'll be at Walmart from 9 to 5. We'll have a bus, and if you can help us by sharing school supplies or things that students might need, we'd appreciate that support. Other things that are coming up very quickly as we get ready for the school year is our new teachers will join us starting August the 18th for a couple days of what we call onboarding, but really getting to know our school system and what our vision is for their work and our mission with our students. So that's happening August the 18th through the 20th. Starting Monday, August the 25th, all of our schools and offices will go back to a normal 5-day work schedule. So we will be open 5 days a week instead of the 4 days a week that we operate in the summer. On August the 26th, our wonderful teachers return to their schools, and we have a lot of work, as we do each year, to plan for the opening of our school and looking at how we will deliver high quality of instruction. Our students return after Labor Day this year. That is a little earlier than normal. So they will return on Tuesday, September the 2nd, and that will be a 3-hour early dismissal for our students. Parents, guardians, I would urge you to look at your school's website, on our new website, but to look at your school's website for upcoming back-to-school events, because schools are beginning to get that information out, and those back-to-school events will be happening starting Tuesday, August the 26th, and looking at the schedule going through August the 29th. But those are very important events for families and students, so please check your school website. I'm sure schools are also, principals are sending notifications out to families also. That's it. Thank you.
All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Can I mention one thing before we do this?
Sure.
I just wanted to thank the staff that went down to the fair and met the public, and I think you guys did a great job. I don't know who was assigned every day, but
No.
I saw Dr. Miller there. I know that.
Yeah, we are very lucky. Mark Green puts out a opportunity to be at the fair schedule. He puts a lot of things together for the fair along with Karen, and we put opportunity out to staff and people sign up, and it is a wonderful event, really, to allowing us to connect with the community. So thank you for mentioning that.
Sure.
I should have done so.
I forgot about it during the comments on, but I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, I want to say one thing too. We talked about your staff before we do that. As many of you know, we'll have an event next weekend. It's our WGW Community Charities, and words can't express how much I thank each of you who work in the buildings, in the central office buildings, for the wonderful donations you make to us each year. This year, I think is the most outstanding, and I didn't think I would ever say that. But those two things are just outstanding, and we very much appreciate that, and we very much appreciate being able to help all the kids of Garrett County. But it's a lot of work for us, but we certainly appreciate what you do to help us do that. And we're looking forward to raising a lot of money and doing a lot of nice things for the community. So again, thank each of you who work in the central office. With that being said, there is a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'm an aye, and we are